one.
Even before we go region by region, maybe we'll have to reverse the order and first give you the big numbers. Because what we now have is the Axis My India poll, big numbers. You're seeing them flashing on your screen. 43% place 41%, 4% to Jan Suraj, 12 to others. That's the vote share. How is this translating into seats? That's the big one now. Take a look at what the seat share is looking like at the moment. As per the Axis My India poll at the moment, it is 98 to 118 to the Mahagathbandhan. 98 to 118 to the Mahagathbandhan. NDA getting 121 to 141. So you've got the NDA halfway mark is 131. Halfway mark for the Mahagathbandhan is 108. It's almost same as 2020. If you look at it in terms of seats, it's very, very similar. You've got Jan Suraj 0 to 2, NDA 121 to 141. So even at that lower end, they are touching the majority mark. The Mahagathbandhan's best case 118. If that happens, then you have a possibility of being close, maybe not close enough, but certainly close, given that there are 1 to 7 others. So the Mahagathbandhan will hope that they get the top end of Axis My India. The NDA will hope they get the top end of that. But what you are seeing is an intensely competitive election in Bihar this time if the Axis My India numbers are to hold. That suggests a much closer contest than most people have predicted. Let's go right round the table with those big numbers. Are you surprised, Manisha Priyam, with those numbers?
Big numbers, I think there's greater comfort because I did see the NDA in the lead, but I did see a very tight contest. It's in the granular picture, and Champaran definitely surprising me because I do see it as an RSS stronghold, let alone an NDA stronghold. So I think there would be many nuances, many regional pictures, but the big picture holds.
Javed.
It confirms reports from the ground that it is a seat by seat and a much closer election than as is being predicted.
Preeti.
Rajdeep, I did think India had the edge. It's a close election. But if these numbers hold, Rajdeep, the fact what I see here is I doubt if the Mahagathbandhan has the stamina then to hold on to 118 or get closer to 120. I think that stamina, the advantage now clearly lies with the NDA. If you look at the components of the Mahagathbandhan, the weakest link will be the Congress. The left is not doing as much. Possibly it will be the RJD, which will be the single largest party.
We'll come to the breakdown. We'll come to individual parties because that might well tell a story, particularly of whether the Mahagathbandhan is being pulled down by its own allies. These numbers could even result in the RJD once again becoming the single largest party and yet not being able to cross the halfway mark. Gaurav, your first remarks.
The bigger picture, when I interviewed Amit Shah in Purnia, he was very confident that they are actually crossing 160. And the BJP was giving details of man-on-man marking, seat-on-seat marking. They seem to think that they are on the higher side of this 141. However, people we spoke to on ground. So, for example, even when you went to Mokama, in a Tola where you had the Bhumihars, you had the JDU ahead. In a Tola where you had, the RJD supporters or the Yadavs, you had the Yadavs ahead. So, it's very strong caste-based voting that has happened in Bihar.
What is evident here, Rajdeep, is that we seem to have overestimated the women factor. Otherwise, that would have led to a clean sweep for the NDA, driven by the women voters. And again, the underestimated perhaps the youth factor, which seemed to be also pushing Tejasvi closer to the halfway mark.
Well, if the women were not there, it would be even more trouble for the NDA. That's also very clear when you have a 5% lead and eventually it's coming down to 2%. Sajjan, your first comments on those big numbers. Are we going to see on Friday a much closer contest than many other exit pollsters have been predicting? I've seen polls giving NDA even as high as 160.
Let me reconcile my ground insight and Axis numbers. I would like to go by the lower denominator for Gathbandhan and higher denominator for the NDA. That's how I reconcile my feedback on the ground and the Axis numbers.
What's the difference according to you?
So that's 90, 90, 98.
What's the difference between the two alliances? Where is that big edge to the NDA coming from, Sajjan?
So that's again, the Mahila factor is there. That was very much visible. And two, Tejasvi's traction in 2020 was beyond the core constituency, right? That's something that we did not see this time beyond Muslims and Yadavs. Here and there, because of the candidate factor, you see the traction. But Tejasvi as a person who is appealing, who is someone who is making a mark in the mindset, that is something that we did not see happening in 2021. That was have a fresh Tejasvi. This time, he was seen more as a leader of the Yadavs, not as a leader of the youths.
Okay,
right?
that's a contentious point. I'll just add one element to that. The 2020 elections, remember, were held in the backdrop of COVID. Lots of migration, lots of anguish and anxiety that people face. Tejasvi, with his promise of 10 lakh jobs, which was achievable, or was a dream that people believed could be realized, was able to attract people at that time. Again, the Congress let him down, if you recall. I've always believed 2020 was Tejasvi's election to win. But Rajat, your first remarks to the big numbers.
I think Pradeep ji is just hedging. He is just hedging on both the sides.
No, so are you saying that Pradeep Gupta is virtually suggesting a potential hung assembly? I can tell you that I spoke this morning to Prashant Kishore. Prashant Kishore is saying, don't rule out a hung assembly, but go ahead.
No, again, I don't care about individual making a remark. We're talking about data. Now, if a data of 2%, you need to look at the maps of how the 2% is localized versus generalized across the state of Bihar. Having said that, looking at the numbers and looking at whatever distribution that you can presume of the women voters, I just believe that Pradeep ji is hedging here on both the extremes, wherein one extreme is a hung assembly and the other is,
this is
a clear win.
I'm just going to stop you for a moment. I'm going to play that graphic again that you just saw beyond the big numbers. We are now going to go into the party split. This, according to me, is the story also within a story of Bihar. Which party is pulling what, how many seats? Take a look at this. As per the Axis My India poll, BJP 50 to 56, that's down almost 20. Remember, they got 75 last time. They are down between 50 to 56, midpoint 53. JDU, which was 43 last time, is now at a midpoint of 59. So the JDU gaining, BJP coming down. The Lok Janshakti doing very well. Many people have written it off. 29 seats contesting, leading as per the survey, 11 to 16. Could Chirag Paswan have become that critical factor with his 5% vote? Remember, his father, Ramvilas Paswan, always knew how to be on the winning side. The rest 4 to 7, and that includes Upendra Kushwaha and the Hindustani Awam Morcha secular of Jitin Ram Majhi. And Majhi, of course, has chosen good seats. He knows how to choose the right seats. On the other side, RJD 67 to 76. If you looked at purely this as Kaun Banega Sabse Badi Party, RJD once again. Halfway mark 72. So RJD is almost repeating as per Pradeep Gupta's the performance it did in 2020.
But he's contesting much more also this time.
He is
BJP is contesting less, JDU is contesting less,
50% strike rate on both the
each.
sides.
So they're contesting
All the
less
three
and
parties,
yet winning more.
Big parties are
Yeah, but there is a
50% strike rate.
You're right. In terms of strike rate, the BJP is virtually where it is, because last time, of course, the BJP did contest a few more seats.
112.
112. So 11 more
115.
seats, but they are down by 20.
112,
So the
115.
BJP is, as per its survey, is underperforming. The JDU and the allies are taking it over the halfway mark as per his poll. RJD party number 1. Congress 17 to 21. Congress will be thrilled with those
Thrilled with this
numbers.
number.
Because the Congress...
And Rajdeep Sardesai, from the likes of you who wrote their obituary, it was premature.
No, no,
and
one
that-
minute,
But
one
Javed,
minute.
they themselves
One
wrote
minute.
their obituary.
No,
You
one
speak
minute.
to
Mr.
them.
Javed Ansari, 17 to 21 seats is only winning 33% of the 61 seats you
Which
have.
is, yeah, so,
That's like clutching at straws.
yeah.
Okay, halfway
You were
mark
saying
is,
they
no,
get
1
six
minute.
seats.
Halfway mark is, for the Congress is 19. So the Congress which contested 70 last time won 19 is winning 19, contesting 61 this
No,
time.
they're not. No, not even 50. 51 on
58
paper.
plus 11 friendly, 8
No,
friendly fights they're having.
Okay, they wanted 61, they took back 3, they had 58, 8 are friendly fights, 51 is what they're contesting.
Yeah, so at the,
That's the math.
at the end of the day, the fact is that the Congress is virtually where it was last time, having contested fewer seats. The next one, VIP. This was the party that was the Mahagathbandhan was hoping would also pull it up. It is contesting 13 seats. It is 15 seats. It's winning 3 to 5. So it's not winning 50%. Some of the allies need to
They'd be
start
happy.
winning 50% of the seat. The others rest is 10 to 16,
Rajdeep,
which is
that's where the
primarily
micro data is.
primarily the CPI-ML. So the CPI-ML is the one which is
Pulling it down.
which is pulling up in a way as it did last time, the Mahagathbandhan. others 1 to 7.
No,
Most-
Rajdeep.
They have the cadre.
The CPI is doing badly.
But ma'am, just a minute. Let us please break down the numbers. Others have to be 1 to 7 and the JSP is 0 to 2. So you've got a situation at the moment which, if these numbers hold, clearly show RJD party number 1, but the allies of the BJP are doing reasonably well, particularly the JDU and the Lok Jan Shakti, and thereby ensuring the BJP is over the halfway mark. Could the story be of, at the end of the day, having a wider alliance gives you that 2 or 3% extra vote? Getting in an Upendra Kushwaha, getting in a Chirag Paswan who fought last time is turning to be the game changer, am I right?
Yes, precisely, because you find on the ground excellent chemistry and arithmetic when Paswan voters are coming. All the theories about two parties,
transfer.
Vote transfer is happening on the ground on the pattern. Two, also, you see, Kushwaha factor in Bihar never had a synchronized voting pattern like Kurmis, Yadavs, etc. Right? So Magad and Bhojpur region did have CPI-ML vote bank. So therefore, but still compared to 2020, you find more Kushwahas voting. Similarly, you find among the non-Paswan, non-Ravidas Dalits, you have more traction towards NDA. So that way, certainly NDA chemistry and arithmetic is more in sync, compared to that.
Let's look at the let's look at two parties. One is BJP, the two national parties. Rajat, if the BJP looks at these numbers, they were delighted last time because they had emerged for the first time as a serious contender for power, just one seat behind the RJD. Now having gone down, if these numbers hold, is this an acceptance that the BJP in Bihar, the one state where they've not had a chief minister of their own, has their limitations?
I think the entire leadership of the state unit of the BJP has been struggling. They have lacked any charismatic leader who have their own goodwill to swing elections on their own, and that misery continues. And I think this is the reason why they have to still, agree to 50-50 sharing of seats and everything. I just believe that the whole unit, the state unit, does not exude confidence, and that starts reflecting into lack of performance even on the ground. And I don't think the central BJP has any options in terms of picking the right faces. They're experimenting with certain faces from outside, but that's about it. There is no reimagination.
Just for 30 seconds, BJP is no longer the junior partner in an alliance. In Bihar, it is contesting equal number of seats as the JDU. 101 is what both of them are contesting.
But
yes,
Gaurav,
JDU winning more,
be,
no doubt, according to these numbers. But the fact remains that the way they're campaigning, the bigger election machinery that they have, they are trying to make deeper inroads along with the RSS.
Okay, Preeti, your first reactions to what you're seeing from the Congress party. You said that the Congress party, compared to last time, contesting fewer seats, is winning the same number of seats. Does that suggest that the Congress party got better seats this time, or they've run a better campaign?
No, I don't think they've run a better campaign, and I actually don't think they bargained for better seats, because most 34 seats is where they're facing off against the BJP and the JDU, and they really don't have that much of a great track record. I think what is bolstering the chances of the Congress here, and I have to say, is despite of the Congress's performance on ground, it is, the larger anti-incumbency. People are feeding into that. Number one. Rajdeep, when you look at the others, and if you can put all the data out in terms of the party breakup, the left last time around got 16 seats. Where you look at others, which left is a component of 10 to 16, there are 7 other components that the MJB has, along with IP Gupta's party and 6 other smaller factions representing 1 or 2 seats where the Dalit communities are concerned. The left is pulling the Gathbandhan down here. The left is not doing as well as it did in 2020. And the other one point I'd like to make, the BJP would be gutted to see these numbers. They truly would be gutted to see these numbers. They were clearly expecting over 70.
If these numbers, of course,
if these numbers hold.
One point here. If we look at, in terms of the strike rate, the JDU strike rate is the best among all the political parties.
Yes.
It is at 61%. The RJD's is around 52%. Important factor, as we have been saying, Rajdeep, that this election is revolving around Nitish Kumar. He's the central figure of this election, and he is the one actually who has pulled up the numbers of the BJP. What is BJP's contribution to this number or to the overall picture of the NDA? Of course, they are bringing in the upper caste votes. But, of course, we have been talking about the election winning machine. They have good booth management. But as far as the vote-catching ability of Nitish Kumar is concerned, that remains intact, even after he has been in power for 20 years.
So what these numbers would suggest is Tejasvi is firmly, if these numbers hold, Tejasvi is firmly the face of the opposition. But Nitish Kumar, Bihar कि मजबूरी है या जरूरी है. Whichever way you look at it, it will be Nitish again if these numbers hold.